Well, welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. This is Justin.
Wyatt.
And Monty.
Tonight we're taking a look at the East India Company, the classic cigar Havana blend. This is a beautiful looking box press. Mine's a over box press, more rectangular press, but overall looks really nice. It's a dark brown, very nice wrapper. Seams are visible, but they look tight, so I'm not worried about them. Kind of a firm pack, but again, I'm not too worried about it. Overall, this is a beautiful looking cigar. The band is just outstanding to me. It's a little bigger than normal, but it's no flash, just kind of, you know, East India Company classic cigar. Havana blend, a little bit of copper or maybe gold trim, but overall just a beautiful looking, very classy looking cigar. The aroma, to me, it's just quintessential kind of barnyard, sweet earth, very nice, just kind of has an overall kind of that rich smell to it. I really, really enjoy it. And the foot, the same, but it just has a nice sweet, like cocoa powder chocolate. Very nice.
Yeah, cool looking stick. I mean, just like Justin said, very classy. I love the contrast, almost like a black cigar and then a real stark white wrapper, and it's got, you know, the history of the company, I guess, on the wrapper, and it's a really classy looking stick. In terms of the aromas, I definitely pick up some barnyard, but to me the whole wrapper just smells a lot like coffee. And on the foot, you know, Monty mentions that molasses a lot, and I get that. It's just deep and rich and syrupy and very dark, and just a lot of coffee. So I'm really looking forward to letting this out.
Yeah, I can't agree more with what the guys were saying. This is a beautiful, beautiful cigar. Just has, I mean, it has really sharp corners to the box press. Just a really nice dark wrapper. It does have one visible seam, but I can't feel it with my thumb when I run it over it, so that's good. Are you guys okay with it? I hate to interrupt them.
We're just comparing sticks.
Yeah. Oh, is there something wrong?
No.
Okay. Anyway, you know, both guys mentioned it. That's how nice this band is. All three of us mentioned the band. It's made out of, you can tell, just a really nice heavy stock paper and really nice foil embossing on it, and it just looks classy against that cream colored band against that dark cigar. It's pretty firm. It's not a hard pack at all, but it does have those nice sharp corners from the box press. And this is one of those few cigars, and I've had a sinus infection for a week and a half, so I haven't been able to smell anything. And I pulled this thing out of the cellophane, and man, it's like just overwhelmingly good. But I'm getting like lots of the aromas of like tea leaves and real floral essences off it, which I think is amazing for the wrapper of a cigar to smell that good. And then off the foot, you know, Justin talked about that cocoa powder that's there, but there's also just some really bright floral notes to it to me too. So really a wonderful smelling cigar, just, you know, for just having pulled it out of the cellophane. It's really, really nice.
Well, let's get it cut up and lit up.
I'm not a huge fan of the East India Trading Company. We had that Red Witch, but I guess that was one of theirs, right?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. I think this is their fourth release. They've had the Wicked Indie, Red Witch, and the Rogue. And so far I have not enjoyed any of their releases, but I have had this one before. And I would say in past experience I did enjoy this cigar very much. But as a whole, I have not been really impressed with East India Trading Company, or East India Company on the North Country.
I was kind of worried I charted it at the light, but really smooth, very sweet, surprisingly sweet. It's dark, but it's not as dark as I thought it would be.
I picked up some spice.
Yep, me too.
It sits in the middle of my tongue, but still, yes, very smooth. Definitely, to me, it's kind of like that, kind of like a sweet cedar or like a slightly sweet wood with some a heavy spice on the tongue, but not just pepper, more like that baker spices like cinnamon and all of them together. It's not bad at all. Very, very good stuff.
finish is long for me. The more I sit here and think about it, the more that spice and that cedar lingers.
And definitely the retro has a lot of spice.
And I feel like I get a bunch of cinnamon sitting in the back of my throat.
But I really don't mind that.
No,
It's the
yeah.
pepper that I don't like sitting in the back of my throat. Cinnamon, it's very nice, very pleasant. Almost Christmassy in a sense.
It's got a really nice open draw.
But it definitely packs a little bit of punch, and flavor-wise, I'd definitely say medium, if not medium full at this point.
I agree.
You know, to me, it leaves a really like a coating on your lips. You know, just a very
Well, it is.
syrupy.
Yeah, it's a very oily wrapper.
Yeah. Oh, nice start.
Let's get into the first third, approach the 10-minute mark. See how it develops. Well, welcome back. We're at the 10-minute mark of this East India Company Classic Blend, or Classic Cigar Havana Blend. So far, the burn hasn't been perfect. I've had to do a couple of touch-ups, but I think it'll be alright. The ash is kind of flaky. It's not holding on real well. I'm afraid it's going to fall here pretty quick. But that's the only con so far. It's still very medium to full in body. A lot of flavor. That kind of that baker spice cinnamon that I was commented on earlier has died down. It's still very much there. It's just not as the spice bomb that it was when we first started. I still pick up a lot more. For me, it's kind of like a dry earth now. A little bit of coffee as well. But still, the major role is the spice. It's just not the spice bomb it was. The finish is still relatively long for me, but overall still enjoying it.
Yeah, agreed. Really good so far. Nice long-lasting finish. I've made one touch-up, and I've got kind of a crisscrossy burn, but yeah, that ash is my biggest problem so far. It's really flaky and shaky, and I'm gonna ash in a second. But flavors are really good so far. Pretty dynamic, and I'm hoping that they're gonna stay that way for a while.
Yeah, I agree. At first there was a big spice bomb, but it quickly went away. About a quarter of an inch into this thing, man, the burn got off really bad, and I cleaned it up with a lighter. And I swear this is a thing with these really sharply box pressed cigars. They get off kilter on their burn real easy, and they're easily corrected, but they just go back and forth. You know, you can correct them real easy, and then 5 minutes later they're off again. And I corrected it, and it's already got off again, and I'm starting to correct it just by blowing on it a little bit. But really flaky ash, still a pretty long finish. I'd say medium body, but probably pushing the full flavor edge there. So pretty decent start though, not bad.
Well, let's approach the midpoint, get into the second third, see if we get any changes. Well, welcome back. We're about the halfway point on this India Trading Company Classic Cigar Havana Blend. I always can't quite remember it. But overall, it's still performing really well, except for the burn. It gets off, I touch it up. It gets off, I touch it up. But it's okay. The draw is really nice. The ash is still a little bit flaky, but it's all stuff I can work through. Flavors are still about the same, no major changes. I still get a lot of that spice, but it's not overwhelming. Very long finish. I still pick up a little bit of like a sweet cedar and some coffee, but they're very, very faint comparative to the kind of baker spice. Still medium to full body. Overall, just really nice cigar. I'd like to see some changes, but I'm not expecting any.
Yeah, agreed. Really nothing to update. The burn is pretty much corrected itself, but the flavors haven't changed. Still nice, long-lasting finish, dark flavors. Not too heavy a cigar, that's always nice. Just a good, milder end-of-your-day type stick.
Really?
Well, yeah, I never got that pepper bomb you guys did. I mean, it just never hit me. I mean, there was that spice.
I respectfully disagree. I don't think there's anything mild about this cigar. But anyway, I know we're just halfway through. We'll get there. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, I don't have much to add from what Justin said. I touch it up. It burns good for a little while, and then it gets crazy, and I touch it up, and we just go in a little circle. It's gone out a couple of times on me, but I don't know that it's necessarily the cigar. I think I wasn't paying attention to it. We were watching YouTube, and I was playing on my phone, so I think that was it. But it's still really the same. It just has a lot of dark tobacco and coffee, and lots of that pepper on that spice on the finish, I should say, that long finish spice. So it's just more of the same, more or less, which is fine.
Well, let's get into the final third. Approach the nut point. See if we get any changes. Well, welcome back for the final third of this East India Trading Company's classic blend, or classic cigar Havana blend. Let's get that on. Regardless, overall, it's been a very pleasant cigar. The burn has never been perfect. Ash has always been flaky, but I've been able to work through those. Still, I agree. I think it's a medium to full. It's got a lot of flavor. Not a big nicotine high, but it's definitely there. But it's mostly flavor. I do appreciate that in the cigar. No real changes from even the first third. It's really, those are the flavors I got throughout the whole profile. A lot of spice, not overwhelming, but a lot for me. A little bit of like a sweet wood and some coffee. Overall, very nice, long finish. I think this is a great end of the day smoke. That's where we're having it. I think it's a great cigar for what it is. I think I paid, I would say like $3 a stick on Cigar Bid. I know that on Cigar International where they have them, they're a little bit more expensive. But overall, I think it's a great price for them. I definitely recommend you try them. I don't know if they're all box pressed, so maybe if there's one that's not, maybe the burn won't be quite as bad. But I agree with Money. I think that's kind of why it goes wonky, is because of that box press. Overall, of the East India Trading Company cigars, I think this is their fourth release, fourth or fifth, and by far my favorite. I have not been impressed, but I have to give them kudos on this cigar. It's a good stick. If I was going to rate it, I'd give it a solid 8. I think it would go a little higher for me if the burn was a little bit better and had some flavor dimension changes, but overall, a very nice smoke.
Yeah, agreed. Like I said earlier, I haven't really cared for anything that East India has put out, and this one was really an exception. I liked it. It was just a classy cigar, classy looking, good smoke. When I got down to the last inch or so, it got really hot. The smoke got really hot for me, and the construction got really spongy. But I'm not going to knock it for that because the flavors were really good. Yeah, if you see this in a shop or something, it's definitely worth picking up. I would like to try it in different sizes. Yeah, I mean a nice Churchill with a little thicker ring gauge. I think the construction would be much better. But yeah, just really enjoyed it. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, it's something I'd revisit, something I'd have rolling around in my humidor. I mean, especially $3 in Cigar Bid, you can't beat that. So, really good stick.
I guess my first question is: this considered a Robusto? Was this?
This was the Robusto. Yes, it was 52 by 5.5.
Okay. Here's my thing about this cigar. The last 5-10 minutes, the cigar has gotten, to me, quite a bit better. It's gotten real smooth. That really long-lasting spice is, to me, it got a little old. It got a little too much, and that's really toned down. Now it's just a lot of good smoke, a lot of dark coffee and earthiness to it, and I really like it right now. Like, to me, this cigar is at its best right now, and I got like 2 inches left. So I think what Wyatt was saying, I think as far as construction as well as the overall flavor profile of the cigar, I think this would be even better in a Churchill, or something bigger. I think it would have gotten to that smoothness a lot quicker, for there to have been more of the cigar to enjoy. But it's still a really good cigar. I wouldn't smoke this in the morning. I don't know that I'd give it to a new cigar smoker to try. It's probably too much for them, but it's still a really good cigar. We all have burn issues with it and yada yada, but at least it was easily fixable. But I would stick with the 8. Definitely an 8.
Well, in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. But until next time, smoke them if you got them.